Welcome to another episode of the Love and Reality Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, I begin my coverage of the Ultimatum Queer Love. Netflix is dropping the episodes like they do with their other popular dating shows on a weekly basis. On May 24th, you get episodes 1 through 4. Week 2, you get episodes 5 through 8 on May 31st, and the series wraps up on June 7th with episodes 9 and 10. On today's episode, I'm going to be taking a look at the first two episodes. Friday, you'll hear me cover episodes 3 and 4. Next Wednesday, I will be dropping episodes 5 and 6. And then, of course, Friday, 7 and 8, with me wrapping up my coverage on June the 7th with episodes 9 and 10. I'm excited to talk about this series because I'll tell you what, the Ultimatum is a fun one because you're bringing on your significant other and telling them, hey, if we don't get married at the end of this experiment, we are done. So it's definitely a interesting dynamic here as we are bringing all of these couples together to see who will come out on top. And I promise you, look, I've already seen the episodes, and I can promise you we are in for a whirlwind of a show. First, let's introduce our couples. First, we have Lexi Goldberg, who issued the ultimatum to her partner, Ray. Lexi and Ray, they've been together for a couple years now. Goldberg is 25, while Ray is 27 years old. Mildred, who issued the ultimatum to her significant other, Tiff. Mildred is 33, with Tiff being 32. Let's see here. Yoli brought her significant other onto the show, Mal. Yoli is 34. Mal is 36. Sam has issued the ultimatum. She's 31 to her partner, Ozzy, who is 42. And then our last couple is Xander, who issued the ultimatum to Vanessa. And this is not going to be the last time we hear these two names, especially the latter. It only gets juicier from here, I promise you. All right, so we get the introduction very early to our host, Joanna Garcia Fisher. And then, of course, we get a little bit of a background of each of these couples. And like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the happenings of episode 1 and 2 here. So they've been, Yoli and Mal have been together for 3 years. Mal wants to be settled down with Yoli, but with the caveat of she wants to have everything ready for the future, right? She wants to make sure their money's right. She wants to make sure their housing's right. She wants to make sure everything is ready to go before she commits to getting married, which honestly, of the couples, this is probably the most sanest one. I really feel like it's not too much to ask for to be kind of financially ready to be with your significant other, right? You know what I mean? You want to be stable, you want to have your roots grounded kind of thing. And look at it, like 3 years. I mean, don't get me wrong, 3 years is a long time, but at the same time, hey, I want to get my shit together before we, move on to the next phase of our lives. But then our next couple, we have Lexi, who is ready to lock down her partner. You know what I mean? She's ready to lock down Ray, and Ray's just not ready for that commitment. Mildred, she's issuing the ultimatum to Tiff. They've been together for 1 year and 11 months. Mildred said a funny line: if she wants to keep a spice in her life, she better put a ring on it. Tiff questions if she wants to marry someone, or just, anybody at all type of scenario. You know what I mean? Mildred wants to be on the same page as her. She tells her that they break up a lot, and what's to say they won't come back. And Mildred said she will walk away. Now, the thing about it is they talk about how much they fight. And that's what Tiff mentions, talking about how they fight so much and how that really plays a big part in why they haven't got engaged. Now, for 1 year and 11 months of being together, it's like if you fight that much and you can't have great communications less than 2 years into your relationship, I'm not sure, folks. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure what to tell you. You know what I mean? But these two have a very hot and cold aspect. Tiffany said before before they came on the show, if she had to choose right now, she still wouldn't marry Mildred today. Now, for those of you at home listening to the show for the first time or watching The Ultimatum, you didn't catch that first season, remember, so each of these shows kind of lays out like this. You go onto the show, you have a dating period where you meet. Now we got five couples, so you're meeting with five other. Well, actually, what is it? There's 10. So you're meeting with eight other people. You meet up with these individuals. You talk to them. You kind of are single now, and you find a person that you're going to trial marry for 3 weeks. So one of these other significant others, you're going to go out of your way and you're going to trial marriage with them for 3 weeks. After this 3 weeks, you go back to the person that you're supposed to be with for 3 weeks. Once you're with them for 3 weeks, then at the end of the show, we give the big ultimatum of who is getting married, who's not getting married, who's marrying somebody new, who's going to start dating somebody new. We have these different aspects of the show. So Sam is issuing the ultimatum to Ozzy. Sam is ready to throw it down, but Ozzy wants to live her life for 5 years. And then if they make it, they can get married. Ozzy feels like she's the one and hopes that this experience can change her process. Now, definitely interesting. Ozzy here, if I remember correctly, as I mentioned, Ozzy is the oldest of the group, right? She is 42. So saying she can be together for 5 more years, then and only then she'll get married. That's a lot of years taken off of off your life, so it's definitely interesting. Xander is issuing the ultimatum to Vanessa. Xander is ready to settle down and have these kids and is willing to walk away from Vanessa, who isn't ready to get married. Xander was wanting to shut it down and leave, but Vanessa was like, they have to do this. Some notes about the first episode here, across the board. Vanessa, rather flirtatious with literally every couple before they even left the place. Lexi, same boat, ready to flirt and have some fun. Mal and Tiff equal. They share a bit of a laugh together. Tiffany cycles through literally everyone one by one and isn't feeling really anyone at all here. Vanessa and Mal go on a date together and start to make their rounds. Ray and Vanessa meet up and talk about their exes given the ultimatum. Like I said, this is that dating phase of maybe you're trying to figure out who you're going to pick to be your quote unquote trial wife in this scenario. Is really struggling. This is the one thing that I found interesting is some of these people that are issuing the ultimatum struggle to watch their significant other on these other dates, right? You know what I mean? Like you're watching them date eight other people, right? So you had several different individuals struggle seeing their significant other on these dates with so many different individuals in that fear of, you know what? Yeah, I did bring you on this experience for the idea of getting married. But the thing about it is, at the end of the day, if we don't get married, you know what I mean? That means I'm going to lose you and that foundation of what we had for however many years it is. And I'm going to have to move on with my life. So obviously, the goal of bringing somebody on the show is to make them open up, them realize this is what I had, and hopefully change a little bit about themselves, maybe learn a little bit about themselves, maybe understand the dynamic of their relationship a little bit better. Maybe they miss you a little bit more. And by the end of it, you have grown and learned all these different things to ultimately say yes to getting the ultimatum. All right. But that said, we have Vanessa is amazed that she is matching with everyone. She's having a great time. Lexi and Vanessa meet up, and Vanessa's super hyper and all over the place. I think these two share some solid chemistry over the opposite spectrums of their other half sharing them. The downside, they kind of have this decent chemistry back and forth because of their relationships and what they're trying to, get out of this experiment. Mal and Lexi are next. Mal is annoyed by the ultimatum, and Lexi talks about her relationship. Mal wants to explore more with Lexi. These two, again, I mentioned Lexi and Vanessa, but Lexi and Mal have some really good chemistry as well. Xander and Yoli, both are the ones issuing the ultimatum, and both want a hell yeah, but both are walking from this with, if they say no, we're not getting engaged, they're done, finished. I honestly, if I would say anybody on these experimental dates, Xander and Yoli, who both have that dynamic that are looking for of couples that are trying to get married. They know what they want. They know what they want to do in that next step. So when two people know what they want, they come together. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, maybe we should match and get together. Later that night, we have a dinner. Vanessa announces at the dinner she wants to know everyone's number one, which was hilarious. Like, this is the first of many scenarios where we see Vanessa really just make the entire group mad. Like she is going to be public enemy number one. Think like Francesca making everybody mad on the perfect match, right? Think about that. Think about that for just a second. And that's what we have with Vanessa. Now, I do think I'll get more in a little bit later. I don't feel like the hate that she'll get is necessarily deserving. But that being said, she wants to announce everybody to announce their number one pick, right? Everybody's refusing to do it because they're like, I no, like I don't want to do that. She also said it hopes to become one big orgy amongst each other, which got a big laugh, but it was pretty funny. Vanessa and Lexi continue to be smitten by each other. I like these two, and I think they mesh well. You know what I mean? I really feel like these two really have that good chemistry. Vanessa is slightly loud, but these two agree on going on another date. Then, as this happens, we see Vanessa. She's like, I want to go on another date with you, Lexi. But as this happened, Vanessa pulls Sam aside and said she likes her too. Now, the thing about it is Lex gets very upset about this. My thing is this: you are dating 8 other individuals. Okay. That is the goal. So we go on a date and I'll get good vibes from you. Now we went on this date and we got the good vibes, but you know what? There's another person I'm interested in. Like we're not making the decision right this second. Now I don't remember how long the time frame is between the first date and getting to date people. I think it's a couple day period here, but Lexi not being very happy that Vanessa's keep exploring all of her options, like that's the part of the show, like part of the show. You know what I mean? That's what you're supposed to do. And that was the end of episode 1. As we shift into episode 2, we go right into the Lexi and Vanessa date. She says she's thinking about the dates, then marriage. The two of them are connecting even more again. Lexi says Vanessa is her atomic bomb. Lexi is massively confused, but it's fun and flirty with Vanessa. But she thinks she might kill her in her sleep. Very funny line there. And the thing about it is I think with Vanessa, everybody realizes she's that fun, spunky person, make you laugh, good to be around, but maybe, just maybe not marriage material, right? You know what I mean? Like that's what I feel like the dynamic between these two really, like between her and anybody. You know what I mean? I think that's why her and Xander are here, because Vanessa is the be all end all. She makes you laugh, she does all these good things, but when it comes to marriage, everyday material, maybe she doesn't check that box. But these two hit it off really well. Mal and Lexi go on a date. Mal mentions that she needs to be emotionally connected to someone before they get physical. Mal asks Lexi if had to date anyone like her, being black, and she said no, but she's more than willing to explore. Lexi has said, I feel like right here, what I was very confused about was Lexi was very, more than willing to explore with everybody. Yet she was very critical of Vanessa going over to Sam and talking to her. And it's a trend. It's really a trend we'll see throughout these episodes, that Lexi has this double standard that I don't believe is one that she's exactly fair with. You know what I mean? It's kind of frustrating to watch that kind of unfold, and it's something that continues over and over and over again. Mal mentions saying she's showing how easily she's showing up easily for Lexi, and when she's given the ultimatum by Loli, she's ready to commit to Lexi. Tiffany and Sam are on the date. Tiffany says she wants a partner to get out of her to get out of the way for dinner. Tiffany's getting emotional because she feels misunderstood by her partner Mildred. She thinks Sam's communication is giving her something that Mildred can't, and she's kind of surprised by that. Another fun aspect about the show is the dynamic of, I'm not sitting here saying you can't fall in love super duper fast, but these people, with a flip of a switch, lock in on somebody and it's the be all end all. And I understand that's part of the experiment, is trying to find somebody that you want to do this trial marriage with. But the thing about it is they flip so fast. It's insane to me. Mildred and Aussie are on a date together. Mildred says she sees herself marrying with 5 kids married with kids in 5 years. Aussie does mention she wants marriage regardless of what's going on with Sam. I thought these two had really good chemistry. I like them kind of well. I think Mildred struggles because Tiff hasn't connected with her in the way Ozzy has, and there's kind of short conversation. But I feel like Tiff has a kind of, I understand what she's trying to say here, but Mildred really wants a strong bond, and she feels that connection with Ozzy that she's not getting from Tiff. So it's kind of scary at the same time. She's getting some things. Again, very short time, but it is what it is. All right. So Vanessa and Ray date. Ray is Lexi's significant other, and Vanessa says she's into Ray and Lexi. And funny enough, obviously they're both a couple. Vanessa is very loud, very vocal about this relationship. Um, Vanessa says she is very confused because she wasn't sure about marriage, but she feels at home like a homewrecker since she's dating both Ray and Lexi. Vanessa, it's only going to get worse for you. Xander and Yoli, they talk about children. Yoli says she isn't having enough sex, and Xander said she can fulfill that for her. Xander pulls her chair closer to her, and she is feeling a real connection with Yoli. Vanessa and Lexi are back out on a date. Vanessa pretends to breakdance, which again shows how incredibly wild she is. She has this rambunctious, fun aspect of her. Again, very attractive for any individual. She likes to date, but Lexi said she feels uncomfortable with Vanessa because she's unsure if she wants to settle down. Now, Lexi is somebody that is issuing the ultimatum. So she looks at Vanessa and sees that fun, spunky side. However, what she also sees is an individual like her significant other, Ray, who's not ready to get locked down, who's not ready to get married. Because of that, she's like, hello, you know what I mean? Like, I can't dive into a 3-week relationship with somebody that has the same mindset as my other significant other. Really, one of the times I thought that Lexi was for sure on with what she was saying. Now, that being said, Vanessa says she doesn't think she wants to grow closer with anyone and says she doesn't want to settle down quite yet. Lexi is off put by this, and Vanessa says, when she gets voted, what's that dynamic going to be like? Is that going to be something that's going to hold them back? Lexi asks, do you think Xander could find anyone else? Vanessa says, no, she's beautiful. Lexi calls her out about the experience, says she isn't trying to take it seriously. Lexi follows by saying she wants to explore things with her, but her attitude isn't vibing, and said someone should show her the door. And then, of course, after that, she calls her Voldemort. I'm sorry, I'm not a Harry Potter guy, so let me rephrase that. Voldemort, and says if you do get rejected, and Lexi says who my ex, and Lexi said she wishes Ray knew she was bad news. Holy cow! Like, this dynamic here, this entire blow up, this was insane. Like, Lexi flipped a switch real fast on Vanessa after realizing that, she's not again, if you see something in her that you don't like because you see a lot of your significant other, I can understand why you're not willing to explore. But I think snapping on her and going off on her, I'm not exactly sure that this was the right way to do it. We've got one night until the choices are going to happen of the picking. Ozzy said the week helped her discover herself in the process. Vanessa says to Ray, when we live together, so Vanessa is now locked in and ready to go after Ray. I really do think this was a manipulative game by Vanessa, by Vanessa, to really get with Ray after her whole experience with Lexi. Lexi arrives, pull Ray aside. Ray mentions that she had a physical attraction to Vanessa. Lexi says Vanessa's motives aren't good, and she feels Vanessa will blow shit up. If she only knew. She said that by the end of this, she knows she wants Ray, and any would that be? She knows what she wants, and she wants Ray to be that partner at the end. Sam is talking to Yoli, but Mal comes over with Yoli and says how she's had awesome dates. She tells her the person, and it's Lexi. Of course, Mal and Yoli are that couple, but it's definitely interesting to hear them talk to each other about their other people. She mentions that it was hard to see her with Xander. Yoli doesn't take things quite well and wants to sorry. The thing about it is you're watching your significant other with these other people, right? So it's definitely interesting to watch that. But then on the flip side of whenever you're watching that, you are trying to find somebody yourself. So it's going to be hard to watch your significant other with somebody else. But that being said, Yoli wasn't taking the conversation very well. So she went back to the big circle of group of everybody else. Tiff and Mildred meet, and Mildred says that her experience has changed. Her experience has changed her quite a bit. Mildred said she has realized how unconnected she is to her and is scared. Mildred said she is scared, but Tiff plants a kiss on her and says, "Do you feel connected now?" Lexi tells Yoli that she hates Vanessa. She's an atomic bomb that will blow things up. Yoli doesn't fully trust her either. Vanessa sits down to talk to Xander. Xander says she's been connected with Yoli. Vanessa said Yoli isn't very nice to her. Vanessa breaks down and said maybe they shouldn't talk. And if she goes with Yoli, she's not sure she wants to talk to her. Definitely interesting here. Vanessa kind of throwing an ultimatum on top of the ultimatum, right? You're getting ultimatum from Xander. And on the flip side, if you date Yoli, I'm not going to talk to you. And then, of course, Vanessa says that kind of whatever, and she walks away. And then, of course, Xander is saying she is shocked by how Vanessa is acting. She wants to let her be in the experience for why they are there. Vanessa said she realized she might not be the one for Xander. She's breaking down and crying, saying she wants to be alone, and she is just a hot mess. This is the part of the show that gets incredibly insane. It's the choice time. You know what I mean? I'll tell you what, Xander is first up. She said she is attracted to Ray because she was someone reminded her of somebody she's with before. And then, of course, Vanessa spoke up and interrupted. And Vanessa kind of whispers over at Xander and says, "Fuck off," which was definitely interesting. And Xander says Yoli will make a good wife. Like, this is about to get, serious. Like, shit is about to go down. Xander makes her choice, and she picks Yoli because she believes that they can teach each other a lot about each other throughout this entire experience. Again, that's why we're here. Everybody gets mad and doing things, and everybody knows what the show's about. But you go on the show, it's going to happen. You're not going to like them. Period. End of story. Right? You know what I mean? Yoli makes her choice, reciprocates the love for Xander. These two are a match, right? You got Yoli, Xander, couple one. Ray's turn. She says she has a physical attraction towards Vanessa. And of course, Vanessa says nice things in return. Vanessa mentions Mal, said they had a strong connection. But Mal said she only had one interaction with her and said she didn't vibe with her and knew it was a no. Vanessa said to Lexi that she was born to be married. She looks forward to whatever experience. And then one of the spiciest things that happened in the first two episodes, Lexi destroys Vanessa, destroys her. Especially when she found out Xander altered her chain of thought and felt gaslit. And her fear is that she can blow up her entire life with one thing. She calls her out for saying she doesn't believe she's there for the right reasons. Xander actually stands up for Vanessa in this moment, which I did believe was a strong moment because it's the right thing to do. Like, just because you're making a choice for somebody else in this scenario doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to stand up for your significant other at the same time. Like, you have to stand up for your significant other, period. Like, the end of story, right? You know what I mean? But that being said, Ray speaks up and says that everyone and fights off Lexi now. Shit is getting crazy with this incredible back and forth banter. And then, of course, Lexi pours it in one more time, saying she doesn't trust Vanessa because she wants to be famous and is terrified about what she could do to Ray. I feel like this is going to be an ongoing trend on these reality shows now that it's out there that people sometimes go on these shows to get famous, right? You know what I mean? So because of that, these people are going to call people out for these scenarios. So that was it. That was your breakdown of the first two episodes of Ultimatum Queer Love. We only have one couple submitted for sure so far for the next phase of these relationships. And of course, that is Yoli and Xander. So we obviously see Vanessa and Ray are smitten by each other. So it'd be interesting to see if these two end up picking each other. Make sure to tune in on Friday as I break down episodes 3 and 4 of The Ultimatum. It's definitely a show that I'm looking forward to breaking down and hearing more in-depth thoughts from each of you at home. So, any questions, comments, or concerns, follow me across the board on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Ricky Valera underscore. I want to thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast on a weekly basis, and I'll talk to you guys on Friday.